RFL viewer, you know we spent a lot of time on the program talking about stop and frisk. That, of course, the NYPD's controversial tactic of stopping, questioning, and patting down people the police believe to be suspicious. In June, thousands showed up for a silent march against the police practice. Opponents say it ends up being nothing more than racial profiling, but supporters say it drives down crime. Till now, there wasn't a whole lot of data on how New Yorkers felt about stop and frisk, but the New York Times just released a poll on this hot-button issue. 64% of New Yorkers and 80% of black New Yorkers believe that the NYPD favors whites over blacks. But 57% still approve of Mayor Bloomberg's crime tactics. Bloomberg has been an outspoken supporter of stop and frisk. But there is different support for stop and frisk based on race. 57% of whites support the police tactic, while only 25% of blacks do so as well. And Dominic, I'm, for reasons passing understanding, going to start with you. What do you make of these numbers in this split?
Honestly, we didn't need the New York Times to tell us that. I mean, I'm surprised they spent money on it. You could stop almost any African American, and they were on the streets of New York City, and they'll tell you the numbers are actually higher of African Americans that feel that way. And I'm sure the predominant society will say at the same time that Bloomberg's tactics have been working. So, newsflash.
Frank, does this give City Hall the leverage it needs to make sure that it continues stop and frisk?
No, I think the leverage battle is being won by the opponents of stop and frisk. I think what gives the police department the leverage to continue stop and frisk in some form, and the mayor has said, you know, we want to repair stop and frisk, not do away with it, mend, not end, is the fact that crime rates have still, even with the recent increase in violent crime, been pretty good. And you have past police commissioners like Bill Bratton saying stop and frisk is an effective tool as long as it's not based on race, and the current police commissioner, Ray Kelly, who remains popular amongst New Yorkers. So I think it's the results rather than a poll that gives the mayor the leverage to continue this.
I think there's also another important statistic that we need to discuss, and that's the fact that nearly 90% of the violent crimes being committed against victims using guns are blacks and Hispanics. And also the majority, I think it's like 94% of the people arrested on gun charges are also blacks and Hispanics. Now, those are just where the numbers lie, and I think, you know, the mayor has tried to reach out to the African American community, go into the churches and talk about ways that they can effectively be respectful with the program. But the numbers are where the numbers are, and if you look at where they've dropped over the past 2 months, crime has gone up as stop and frisk comes down, and those are correlations that can't be ignored.
The police can get a little carried away, though. I mean, I thought it was a little crazy for Dominic and I to walk in here together. I kept walking, and then they asked Dominic, "Can I please ask you a few questions, sir?" And he was lucky to make it back in time for the show.
Wait, what?
No, I'm being somewhat facetious.
Somewhat?
I think that's why, Jessica, several black elected officials and minority elected officials like Malcolm Smith in Queens and Ruben Diaz in the Bronx, Ruben Diaz Sr., support even though their natural constituency is probably opposed to it.
You know, Dominic, I have never been convinced that, even with the numbers that have come out, that there's a direct correlation between stop and frisk and either a rise or a drop in crime numbers, but it sure seems like a lot of New Yorkers think there is.
Well, you know, Jessica makes a good point. And crime committed by African American males or Latino males is a real issue. And there are many in our community that feel that these are issues that must be dealt with. We can't just keep ignoring it and want to focus on racism.
You're saying inside the community?
Inside the community.
Yes.
But that does not give police officers the right to
100%,
violate your rights. And, you know, to people that support the program, I just say this to you. We all support, we don't want crime. But you try going to the store and someone rolling up on you, not identifying themselves, throwing you up on a wall and pulling a gun and telling you if you move, they'll blow your back out.
Yeah, that's why
Do you think that is the norm of stop and frisk? Like, I'm not saying that that's an acceptable practice.
I hate to say it, police officers do a great job every day, but that is the norm.
And I think that's why so many whites are okay with stop and frisk, because they're not the ones getting stopped and frisked. Right. I think in that New York Times article, something like 12 out of the last 11,000 stop and frisks were of white people. I'd love to know who those 12 guys were that got stopped and frisked. But yeah, you're exactly right. The blacks are opposed to it because they're the ones bearing the brunt of it.
All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, you're going to hear from the Dean of the New York Press Corps, David Seifman. We speak with him about the race for City Hall and Mayor Michael Bloomberg's legacy. That is next. Stay with us.